Hello, fellow classmates. My name is Joanne Bradley, and I am talking to you about my sources and my paper for History 325. My argument is the United States is a nation of desired immigrants. It's composed of people who desire being Americans and will give up their citizenship of their country of native birth in order to be Americans. To be an American is the promise of a new start and a new world, and based on the culture that the people were leaving, depended on whether they were looking back or not, and it would be their, oh goodness. So my argument is that based on the conditions of the country that these people are leaving, their degree of Americanization changes. So I will be looking at groups that are coming from different areas, from Poland, Russia, Hungary, Ireland, Finland, and Saudi Arabia. So my first source is a series of letters that were written between June 14, 1863 and October 11, 1866 to Marion Dow Stevens from his parents, H.B. and M.G. Stevens, and the younger brother, H. Fairfax Stevens. M. Dow served in the Illinois 106th Regiment for the Union Army during the Civil War, and these letters discuss the conditions at home on the farm, even to the details and the prices of the different food items and the crop sales. They talk of the obligations and duties of being an American and of being noble. And M.G. Stevens talks about being proud to be the mother of two sons willing to die as Americans in defense of their rights. This is a great discussion of various battles, and during the time of the letters, H. Fairfax Stevens, the brother, dies in battle, and the mother also passes. These letters reference the Indians, the slaves, traders, and patriotism. This family was originally from Poland. They went to Russia before becoming to America, and this source helps reveal the nature of early American immigrants from Poland and Russia in the late 18th century. This source also helps to reveal what it was to be an American during the Civil War. My next source is from the Hollywood Masonic newspaper in 1953. The letter is titled, or the article is titled, John Wilbur Stevens, Tyler Extraordinaire. It's written by Robert T. Gilmore, Jr. This article talks about John Wilbur Stevens, who's a descendant of Marion Dow Stevens, who was discussed in the letters above. This article discusses the frontier-hardened parents and the immigrant train that the family rode from Illinois to L.A. on. John Wilbur Stevens was a Mason, and it describes his contributions. Brother John was described as a pioneer of not only L.A., but of particularly Hollywood. So he's claimed to be an old-time Republican. The source helps to reveal what it was to be a descendant of the American who fought in the Civil War and what it was to them to be an American. He also had an internal immigration as he migrated across America. My next source is a eulogy for the same above-mentioned person, John Wilbur Stevens. It does appear to have the same information that was provided in the article. It's just going to be used as further supporting evidence. The next source is an exciting story that was in the Sunday Call magazine in September 3rd of 1899. It was titled The Life of John Goodman, The Thrilling Experience of a Famous L.A. Detective, written by W.C. Bunner. It talks about the life of John Gabriel Goodman. It talks of his religious persuasions and discusses, and this was discussed as he was mistakenly thought to be a Jew. He was born in Poland and was of aristocratic descent. However, his family was impoverished. He was taken in by a relative who saw it fit to have him educated very well. So he was sent to a Greek theological seminary in Warsaw and was taught many things, including Hebrew. Unknown to him, he was also being trained to be a puppet for the government. This very detailed story tells why John Gabriel Goodman would renounce his government now and forever and would leave Poland for Russia, where he settled up on affairs and sailed for America. This story is going to be used as supporting evidence also of what it means to be an American. My next source is a copy of a land deed in which James Bradley was deeded lands in Indiana. James Bradley was of Irish descent, and he was a Roman Catholic. He came to America from Ireland in 1809. This land deed was signed by President James Polk. So being white, Catholic, and now owning land put this family in a position of political power, as he had citizenship and voting rights. This source will help support what it means to be an American from the perspective of the Irish Catholics who immigrated to America during the Irish potato famine. The next two items are letters that were written to me by different family members in 1988 when I was researching my family tree at that time. So the first one is a letter that was written to me by Elizabeth Ertzi Lund of Hungary. Elizabeth Lund discusses the conditions that my family lived in while they were in Hungary and the standard of living that they found in America. In the letter, I'm told the value of being an American and the conditions and the lacks of freedoms the Soviets inflicted on Hungary. This branch of my family tree arrived in America from Hungary in 1909 and 1910 and will help reveal why these ancestors left their native country and wanted to be Americans. It will also help support what I believe it means to be an American. The next letter was written to me by the second wife of one of my Finnish relatives. The woman who wrote the letter's name is Alice Tarkin, and she discusses Arnie Tarkin. His name was originally Arnie Tarkianian, and he was a skilled jeweler and watchmaker who worked at both Tiffany's Jewelry and the Black Star in New York upon arriving in New York from Finland in 1925. Arnie Tarkin worked for the Russian government at the time of the revolution, just prior to coming to America. And Alice Tarkin also discusses Arnie's name change upon becoming a citizen and how that contributes to being an American. This source will help reveal why these ancestors left their native country and wanted to be Americans. It will also support what they believe it meant to be an American. So my last source is a little bit different. It is an interview with a very dear friend of mine. His name is Hani Almanea, and his native country is Saudi Arabia. Hani came to the United States in the early 1990s to obtain an education. He's now married to an American and has 2 children. My topic of the interview was, are you an American, and what does it mean to be an American? So the short answers were, Hani is an American, but he is not a citizen. He did not come to America to flee anything, and he originally thought he would actually return to his native country. So this source will help reveal another perspective of what it means to be an American. Thank you very much.